that had been away haven't changed, had much to say. But man, I still think them cats are crazy. They were asking...
Hello, welcome back to Let's Talk Sports with Rick Manarino. Today is a very, very, very special day. I have an incredible guest in studio, one of the best, as you all know, best baseball players of all time. Just an incredible person, an incredible athlete, hardest worker that I ever knew of in the game. I know I idolized him. I want to introduce Mr. Pete Rose. Pete, welcome.
Thank you, Rick.
Welcome to the show today.
Go fuck yourself, Rick.
Oh, my God.
Start over.
No. That was good. Hey, you see how he ignored me on purpose? This guy is a natural joker. That's one of the things I love about Pete.
Now, what was your question?
My question was, how come you bust my balls all the time?
Well, you got big balls. That's what she told me. So it's okay to bust your balls. I mean, we're here to have fun.
We are here to have fun.
Because nobody's watching, so or listening. No,
we got a few viewers, and thank all you viewers for tuning in. And I want to thank you all for the patronage and viewing our shows every week at the various social media outlets. But I know this show is going to blow up all over, and it's going to go viral because I'll say the name again, Pete Rose. That's all you got to say. Google him, and you'll see about 10,000 records. He owns them all. He, people say he's top 3, top 5, top 10. I don't think there's many guys in baseball history that are better than Pete Rose.
You know that's interesting, Rick. And let me tell you about that. I played against Mays. I played against Aaron. I played against Clemente. Don't be a smartass. I didn't play against Babe Ruth.
That was my next question.
However, I believe, and I'll say this until the day I leave, Babe Ruth was the greatest baseball player ever to play. Because Babe Ruth did something that Michael Jordan couldn't do for basketball, Wayne Gretzky couldn't do for hockey, Tom Brady couldn't do for football. Because Babe Ruth was Babe Ruth after the 1919 Black Sox scandal, he saved the game of baseball. And I don't think the other three GOATs that I just mentioned could save their sport. And that's why I say Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player ever to play. He still has World Series pitching records.
Wow.
Okay, and he played in the 20s and the 30s. So let's think about that. So I met his daughter about 6-7 years ago in Cooperstown. Claire Stevens was her name, and she died a couple years ago. And I was up in Cooperstown signing autographs, and she walked 3 blocks down the street to say hi to me and tell me that her dad would have loved the way I played.
Oh,
and
amen.
That's the most nervous I ever been. And I've been in front of federal judges before. But talking to Babe Ruth's daughter, I mean, I'm saying, that can't be Babe Ruth's daughter. How can that be Babe Ruth's daughter? I wish they'd talk about my daughters like that. Because I have a couple daughters, and it was just an amazing feeling to get to talk to Babe Ruth's daughter.
Yeah.
And I know more about Babe Ruth than anybody. And that's because of my association. When I made to the big leagues, we had an announcer named Wade Hoyt who played for the Yankees and played against Babe Ruth and with Babe Ruth. And I got all the stories about Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb. I got them all. When I was a kid, and I'd get on the airplane for 3 or 4 hours. I'd sit next to Wade and just ask him questions about those guys. Because he played with them.
Yeah.
So it was first-hand information.
God.
That's fun.
Valuable, priceless.
Well, for a guy like me, it was a lot of fun because I've always been a historic guy toward the game of baseball and followed the game of baseball. Even today, I'm probably the only guy you'll interview who watches 2 games every day. You?
3 or 4. I watch a lot of baseball. I love the game. I was a kid growing up, and as a kid growing up, I idolized you. And you talk about Babe Ruth and those guys, and I know you've heard this from people before, but it comes from my heart. I was a guy that I wanted to be like you. I was playing Little League Baseball, and I was like, I want to slide head first. Oh, my God, that's so cool. I never seen anybody slide head first. And you were really the guy who started that in sliding into first base and, always hustling down to second.
Well, it's the fastest way to get into the base, isn't it?
But it was so cool to me. And it's like, the thing that amazes me about you is that, first of all, you're very humble. Your records are so outstanding. It baffles me when I looked at them and I was like, I didn't know this much about Pete Rose. His records are incredible since the time you broke in 1963 and you were Rookie of the Year. You started off big in the game. You didn't take 5-6 years to become somebody like these guys nowadays.
I did
You
take-
broke in and you were Rookie of the Year.
I did take, let's see, 63 I was Rookie of the Year, 64 I hit 269. So what did I do? I went to Venezuela to hone my skills. And when I played for Caracas, and I hit 340 and I led the league in runs scored. Then I came back for the 65 season and I hit 300 the next 12 years. So I really learned how to hit in Venezuela because I really worked hard at it. It was a good winter league.
Yeah.
Because people in Venezuela, people in Puerto Rico, people in Dominican Republic, they take their baseball real seriously.
Yeah.
And you had to bust your
They do.
chops when you played there.
Yeah,
And we had a
it's
good
tough
team.
game.
We won the championship in Caracas. I won the championship my first full year in Tampa, Florida. Listen to this. We won the Florida State League championship in 1961. And we're making $450 a month. $450 a month. Okay, and you work 5 months. And you know what the owner gave us all? He gave us all a Zippo lighter. And not one of us smoked.
Oh, my God.
We got a Zippo lighter for winning the baseball championship.
Wow. Can you
And then
imagine
next
that?
year, we won the championship in the Sally League at Macon, and the guy gave us a $250 bonus for winning the championship. But then the next year, I made Cincinnati, and I made $7,000 a year for playing in the big leagues.
And being,
I thought I was a
What did they give you
millionaire.
for Rookie of the Year? A little extra bonus for
No,
that?
they don't give you nothing. You get, if you're Rookie of the Year, you get the contract for next year.
Wow. What a difference today's game is. These guaranteed
Well,
contracts.
listen,
$40 million a
hey,
year.
I won Rookie of the Year, and I got a $5,000 raise. I went from 7,000 to 12,500 to 24 to 46 to 55 to 85 to 125 to 450 to 800,000.
How about in your MVP years? You were what, MVP 3 times? 2 times?
So I was MVP in the World Series and MVP in the season. I finished second a couple years.
You were MVP the year that, Carlton Fisk hit that home run in Game 6?
I was
And then
MVP
you
of that
came back
World
and won
Series.
Game 7. You were
Yeah.
MVP that series, right?
Yeah, he hit that ball over my head. But unfortunately, it went over George Foster's head, too.
Yeah.
It went over the Jimmy Fund. Yeah.
Hey, I remember sitting there watching it, and I was like, it was a long game, and it was,
12 innings.
yeah, an overtime game. And
You know, in 1968, I lost MVP to a pitcher.
Sandy Koufax,
No, Bob Gibson.
Bob
He
Gibson.
pitched 13 shutouts that year. He had a 1.12 earned run average.
He was a beast.
It was only the second time. Well, the second time happened a couple years ago with Kershaw, where a pitcher was MVP.
Yeah.
I don't know if a pitcher should ever be MVP because a player can't be Cy Young winner.
Yeah, and they don't play every day.
No.
I mean, you're.
But
correct.
he had a great year. You have 13 shutouts, man. That's
that's
the
it's
way
not possible
DeGrom was
nowadays.
going this year
It's
before he got hurt.
Yeah.
DeGrom was having the same
Oh,
type
yeah,
of
he
year
was-
that Bobby Gibson had back in
Unbelievable
1968.
year, but these guys get hurt so easily nowadays. You know, they pitch.
Well, they're
and-
overprotective because of all the money they make. You know, you go in and tell them you got a kink in your elbow, they think you got a tumor.
Yeah, I know.
Because most guys have multi-year contracts.
Yeah.
And if you got a guy's got a multi-year contract, there's one thing you want him to do: play, pitch, hit.
Yeah.
Not sit and watch the games in the dugout.
Shohei Ohtani.
You know.
How long's he going to last?
I don't know. He
Pitching
can,
and hitting. Again,
Well-
you know, he gets the sore arm often. But that guy's quite a ball player. But, you know, it's funny.
he's a home run hitter. I mean, you know,
is.
what's he 9-4, 9-5 now?
Yeah,
And
something
he's
like
down.
that.
He's down. His average is down in the 250s
Yeah,
now.
it's really
Can't be
gone
no
down.
MVP hitting 250.
And that's what I say. Guerrero is the MVP.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear.
Guerrero's the MVP.
Yeah, I didn't want to hear all that bullshit about Otani at the All-Star game where
Oh, I know.
he's the next Babe
Didn't-
Ruth.
he didn't-
Why? He's not even leading the league in home runs.
Yeah.
Guerrero is.
And you know what also amazed me when you talk about the All-Star game? All that fanfare for Pete Alonso. The guy is not a good hitter. He's
a home run hitter.
He's a home run hitter. He doesn't hit with guys in scoring position. The Mets have dropped. Big leaders.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah, big leaders lead teams. Speaking of leaders, one of the things
That's my problem with Mike Trout.
Oh God.
When's Mike Trout going to lead his team to the World Series? He's a great
A
player.
calf muscle. I can't understand. I keep asking.
I watched
people.
that happen,
Yeah, and he's been out since May.
and he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. What a lost year. And I feel bad for Madden because I think Madden's a good manager. And they got him in there, over there with the Angels, and he's got no players. Look at Rendon. He has a big year in Washington, big year in the World Series, big year in the playoffs. Rendon has done nothing for the Angels besides be hurt.
Well,
and that's baseball today.
I'm going to disagree with you on something, and I'll explain myself.
I'm open for that.
Okay. There's been Brian Price, Joe Madden, Tony La Russa. They're the only three managers that I know of that come up with this deal of hitting the pitcher eighth. And I listened to Joe Madden talk 5 minutes one day on hitting the pitcher eighth. When he got through, I looked at my son and I said, "What the hell did he say?" If you remember when the Cubs won the World Series,
I do.
he tried to screw that World Series up 3 or 4 times. Okay?
Yeah.
And Joe Madden is a perfect example. Let me ask you a question. I think you're a knowledgeable sports guy, if I can say that.
You can.
Okay? What makes a good manager in baseball?
A good manager in baseball.
One thing makes a good manager. One thing makes a good football coach. One thing makes a good basketball coach. What is it?
Vision.
Vision?
Yeah, the vision to know what's going to happen in the game, to understand the game.
No, there's one thing that makes a good manager. And you know what it is?
What?
Good players. Do you know any good managers that had bad players?
No.
Joe Madden, when
Very
he won,
well put.
Joe Madden, when the Cubs won it, he had good players. Rizzo,
Yeah.
Baez.
Yeah.
They all had good years.
Yeah.
Okay? Whoever wins this
Chris
year,
Bryant.
right now, San Francisco manager is the best manager because his team's got the best record.
And he doesn't have the best players.
But
He continues
gets
to
them
win.
to win. He gets
I'm
them
like,
to win.
They have held
People
the Dodgers
don't
off.
understand. If you
good
have
point.
an ugly girl, you don't win a beauty contest. You don't.
No, you
And
don't.
if you got bad players, you don't win baseball games. What is so hard to figure that out?
Yeah, it's.
I'm going to win in both cases, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers got good
We
ball
got a
players.
couple good-looking ladies over here.
Yeah.
One white and one black. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Let's stick to the show, Pete. Hey, stop talking to the gallery. Stop talking to the audience.
That's a peanut gallery over there.
The peanut gallery. I love it. Let me ask you a question. I've watched several of your interviews, and I know you do a lot of. I was interested. You were talking about one radio show you had with Reggie Jackson, and you made such an
I had breakfast with Reggie last week, man.
yeah, Mr. October, and you said to him, this was funny. You told him, "Hey, I've made more outs, 10,000 outs than times you've been to the plate."
Yeah.
First of all, Reggie, and second of all, you talk about I'm Mr. October, Reggie Jackson. I'm Mr. October, and you said to him, "Well, I'm Mr. April, May, June, July, August, September, and October." You remember that? I watched that interview, and I was like, "Oh my God, Pete is so funny." Just like the guy you told. I love your interviews, by the way, and I hope we all love this one by the end of it, or we're going to be thrown off the air or something.
Nah.
But you said to a guy, he said, one more question, one more question. You said, "Hey, 3 questions ago, you said one more question. Just sit there and shut up." I'm going to talk as long as I want to talk. So, I mean.
Well, the thing about me,
Those are
though,
great
the thing
things
about
you.
me,
You're that person.
you can ask me any question you want to ask me, and I'm unlike most players. I'll answer, or I'll try to answer.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's awesome. And
most
that's
guys
really
just
awesome.
answer what they want to answer. You can ask me controversial questions. I lived it. I would rather you ask me something that happened with my gambling than someone that's in the audience.
Yeah.
Because I was there. I
Yeah.
know what happened.
Yeah.
I went through it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So if you want to,
Do you want to talk about that at all?
you can talk about anything you want to talk about, but let me give you a warning that talking about the gambling and talking about me is talking about yesterday's newspaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Your fans don't give a damn about
Absolute-
if I gambled in
absolutely.
1989.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't give a damn if I gambled in 1989 or 1988. They worry about what am I doing now? What is baseball doing now?
Absolutely,
How's the game?
and that's why
Everything
we're
like
here.
that. But I went through it. I did it. I was sorry. I made a mistake. I can't turn it around. It's history. It's part of baseball history. But I'm not a bad guy.
Oh, you're an awesome guy. But listen, everybody.
I didn't bet against my team.
No, but everybody views Pete Rose differently. My whole thing is in being here with you. It's how I view you.
Yeah.
And my whole thing about viewing you, in my heart, you are absolutely first ballot Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Famer. You're one of the best Hall of Famers ever. And that's what I hold on to. All the other stuff, hey, I wasn't part of that. I can't judge that. I can't be that. But what I can say is this, and what I love about you, and I look at your interviews and you say to people, you know, folks, what I'm about, you know what this guy right here, Pete Rose, is about, and this is what I love about you. You tell them, I'm about winning. I'm about hanging out with winners and positive people. I don't want to hang around losers. I'm a winner. And guess what? That's why you have all these stats that I wrote down and all these successes.
Well,
because you play positive, you play to win, you were the hardest working guy on the field. And guess what? Guys like me and my brothers and our friends in the neighborhood, we all wanted to be Pete Rose. So you know what? Thank you. Because it made me better in life because I played to win.
And another thing I had, okay, is I always had good teammates.
Yeah, you had some of the best.
I believe, here's the way it is. You can be positive or you can be negative. You can be a winner or you can be a loser. You can't almost be pregnant. You got to be one or the other.
Yeah.
And I hung around with positive winning people. Bench, Morgan, Perez, Schmidt, okay, Morgan, Andre Dawson, Tim Raines, Frank Robinson.
All great
I got
names.
a
Tim
Hall
Raines.
of Famer at every position on the field that I played with. I'll name them. Bench is the catcher. Schmidt's the third baseman. Larkin's the shortstop. Morgan's the second baseman. Perez, the only Cuban ever to make the Hall of Fame, is the first baseman. Frank Robinson in left field. Wow. Tim Raines in center field. Andre Dawson in right field. Tom Seaver, right-hand pitcher. And Steve Carlton, left-hand pitcher.
What a
and
lineup.
Sparky Anderson, manager. Now,
What a
how can
lineup.
it not be fun to
Not
go to the
beatable.
ballpark? I didn't play with all of them at the same time.
But that lineup is unbeatable. I mean, you just named some incredible.
Well, they're all in the Hall of Fame.
And I like you brought some of the guys that aren't easily recognizable by a lot of people, like Andre Dawson and Tim Raines. Tim Raines was a great ball player. A lot of people don't know.
Because he played in Montreal.
They played in Montreal, both of them. But how was it playing in Montreal?
Montreal, we had a good team. We had 3 Hall of Famers on that team, plus me. Okay, had Raines, Dawson, and Carter.
Yeah.
And the manager was Bill Verdon. Nice guy, good player with Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he was with
But
Pittsburgh.
if you know what I mean, he just wasn't the right personality for that group of guys. We needed more of a kick-ass type manager. Like we won in 1980 in Philly, I believe, because we had Dallas Green, who was a kick-ass
I
manager.
remember.
And Bill Verdon was too laid back because you take on your manager's personality because you're around him so long. If you're playing for Billy Martin, you're going to be aggressive. If you're playing for Bill Verdon, you're going to be laid back. If you play for Sparky Anderson, you're going to be aggressive.
Yeah, Sparky was aggressive.
And most managers had to be aggressive. And and Bill Verdon's a nice guy, don't get me wrong, but if we'd have had Sparky Anderson with Montreal, we'd have won because we had Brent Smith, Charlie Lee, Steve Rogers, Jeff Reardon in the bullpen.
Unbelievable.
We had a
pitchers.
good ball club, but we just, for some unknown reason, didn't play up to our expectations.
Yeah. You had a good career in Philly. That's where you
Well, we
became,
won the World
you became
Series.
the hit king in Philly, right?
Yeah, we won. No, I became the hit king in Cincinnati when I went back.
That's right, when
I
you went back.
I become the National League hit champion. I beat Musial's record in 1981.
In Philly.
Yeah.
And then when you got
Listen to this. I
When you
went
went
to
back to the Reds is when you were
manager.
4,256.
6.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, the record was 41.92.
Yeah.
I got
Which
that.
was Ty Cobb.
Yes.
And you passed him up. He was what? It was really only. I was reading this article. It was really only 4,189 or something.
Yeah,
in the
I
state.
wasted all my time in
You
Chicago
wasted
that
all
day.
your time.
Yeah.
And you really were chasing a record that you already had beat.
Listen,
I read that. Yeah,
this
but Ty
is an
Cobb.
interesting stat, okay? My last year in Cincinnati, for the first time. I was 38 years old. So my next birthday, April, which is opening week of baseball, I went to Philadelphia for the 79 season. 79, I'm 39. 80, I'm 40. 81, I'm 42. 82, I'm 43. My first 4 years in Philly, I did not miss a game.
Unbelievable.
40, 41, and 42 years old.
Unbelievable.
Free agent.
You know, speaking of that, I saw the statistic that of any sport, it doesn't matter what the sport is, you have played 252 more games,
Winning games.
than any athlete in any
Who
sport.
was second?
I don't know.
I'll give you his number. Number 8 for Boston.
Carl Yastrzemski.
You got it.
Whoa,
I knew I
pretty good,
couldn't
Pete.
fool you.
Hey, pretty good, Pete.
I knew I couldn't fool you. You got that wrote down there.
No, I
Damn it.
do
Don't
not.
give me that bullshit.
It's not on
no.
those notes.
Man, you lying like
it
a
is
sack
not
of
on those in my
potatoes
notes.
over here.
Hey, no. I'm telling you, I grew,
That's 2 seasons.
Let me tell you, I'll just talk about me for a second. You don't want to hear about me. But as a kid growing up, my passion was baseball. I wanted to be a baseball player. But I just was never good enough. And I played in high school and I was okay. But I knew because if I had a big heart, I wasn't a great athlete. If I had a big heart, I could play football.
Yeah.
So I played high school, college football, had a great college career. But my love was always baseball. I sit and watch games now, and I am such a purist of the game because I love the strategy. They don't bunt anymore, which drives me crazy. All they want to do is hit home runs. And it's like
Home run strikeout.
that's me. I wanted as a little league kid, I was so intense. In the summertime, I can remember we get on our bikes and we go down to the local high school and play baseball all day. And I'm Pete Rose, I'm Willie Stargell.
Hey, let me tell you another
I'm this
reason
one,
why
I'm
you
that
did
one.
this. Let me tell you another reason why you did that, okay? And it's the same reason I did it. Because it was cheap to play baseball.
Yeah.
You didn't need a basketball. You didn't need shoulder pads. You didn't need a helmet.
Yeah.
All you needed was a ball and a bat.
Yeah.
That's
We were
why
those
so
kids
many-
in
That's why
Sandlot.
so many kids played baseball.
Yeah, you know the movie Sandlot?
Sure.
That was me growing up, and it was we only had one baseball, and we kept taping it up. If somebody hit it out of the park and we couldn't get it in somebody's yard, we were done. We were going to hit rocks, and that didn't work.
Are you
going to
sit here and tell me?
me?
Is he going to sit here and tell me he was a movie star with that goddamn haircut he's got? You got an ought to be haircut. You know what an ought to be haircut?
What is that?
It ought to be on a goat's ass.
Pete, what is wrong with his haircut?
Huh?
What is wrong with his haircut?
Who?
Where? Pete.
This
you
engineer
are
back here is
funny.
going crazy. Look at
I
him
want
back.
to. Let's not talk about that. Let's
I'm just kidding.
I know you are. Hey, like you told the guy, sit
You
up.
got to get a reason
It's like you
to
told the
hang
guy,
in
sit
there.
down and shut up.
They don't know what I'm going to say.
Hey,
We got the
producer
topless
extraordinaire
girls
is
coming
going
up in about
crazy.
20 minutes.
Hey, he's going crazy over there. So, let me tell you. Let's talk about our producers telling me we're going to have time get to a commercial soon, but I want to talk about a couple of things before we
Okay.
go to commercial. 15 seasons batting over 300. That's amazing.
Me?
Yeah,
Is that it?
15 seasons. You batted over 300 out of 24 seasons. Also, this is a stat that I love, Pete. You were in the All-Star game 5 times in different positions. These
Yeah.
guys maybe and you made 17 All-Star games.
Yeah.
17 All-Star games. Who makes 17 All-Star games in a 24-year career? Who does it?
Hank,
Pete Rose.
Willie,
Hank. Okay,
me.
a few of you. Top 5 guys.
And I'm going to tell you right now before you go there.
Yes. Where am I going?
Don't ask me my favorite position because that's awful.
I
personal.
wasn't going to. You know what? I wasn't going to ask you that.
Because everybody in this room has a favorite position, including you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm the only one who's going to say first base.
Okay. Can I name the 5 positions you were
Sure.
on the All-Star
Sure.
team? Let's see if I'm alive today.
Okay.
First base,
Yep.
second base,
Yep.
third base,
Yep.
right field, left field.
You got it.
Do I know this?
It
I study. But again, I go back to the same thing.
And you
I'm
know-
more interested in the person than the stats.
Let me tell you an interesting situation. In 1967, we played in Anaheim. We won the game 2-1 in the 15th inning because Tony Perez had a home run. And I didn't get in the game to the fourth. I made the team as an outfielder. I did not get in the game until the 14th inning. And when I got in the game, I played second base. And the reason I didn't get in the game till the 14th inning, I was the only guy left who could catch. Is that strange?
That's strange.
Because when I was a little leaguer, I was a catcher.
Wow.
That was the most fun position, but I enjoyed first base. First base was the most fun because it's action.
You started at second, right? Your
I
career
did. I
started
started
at second base.
One rookie year at second base. Then I went to left field. Then I went to right field. Then I went back. Then I went to third base. Then I went to Philadelphia. I went to first base.
Yeah.
But of all the,
I remember it.
I wish I'd have played
And you were
first
good at all
base.
of them.
I wish I'd have played first base my whole career. There's so much action at first base.
Yeah, you talk about the All-Star game. You played in the most infamous or famous All-Star game of all time when in extra innings you ran over Ray Fosse, broke his nose. You won the game, and you said, what do you want? We got to win the game. We're going to win the game. I'm not going to just go up to him and let him tag me. I'm going to run over him.
He was
till we win
blocking the
game.
plate. If we were playing today, I'd have been ruled safe because he was blocking the plate.
Yeah.
And do you know, I know you don't know this. Okay, if you know this, I'll kiss your ass, okay? All right, don't get ready for it because you ain't going to know this. What did I do? What did I do the night before that game?
I have no idea. You went to dinner with Ray Fosse.
God damn, I got to kiss your ass.
I wanted to say
How
that.
the hell did you know that?
I watch interviews. Hey, when I say
I took him and Sam McDowell out to eat because Sam McDowell was a friend of mine, and he made the team. And about a week before the game, they added Ray to the roster.
Yeah.
And the game was in
I
Cincinnati.
remember he played for Cleveland.
Yeah, and I already had dinner arrangements, and he called me and said, "Could Ray go?" He was a rookie.
Yeah.
And he asked me every question in the world about Johnny Bench. And I spent the whole night with Ray Fosse.
He wanted to be Johnny Bench.
And now, Ray Fosse, who, by the way, has got cancer right now, hate to report that, but he won't do a card show with me. A couple, 3 years ago, he says he knows now I was trying to hurt him. Well, here's the reality.
come on.
Here's the reality of
You're
the situation.
trying to win the game. You're a winner.
That's absolutely right. What happened? I missed the next 3 games. He didn't miss any.
Yeah, you got suspended.
No, I got a knee injury.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought, yeah.
And that's 3 of the 10 games I missed in the 70s
Wow.
because of the
3
All-Star.
out of 10 in the 70s?
Yes.
You know
I
when you
missed
talk,
7 games plus the 3 in the All-Star game.
what amazes me when you talk about winning in a team and let's do it. I looked at the statistic. You played in 17 All-Star games.
Yes.
The National League won 16 of them.
Yes.
You won 16 out of 17 All-Star games.
Only one
and
we
you had a
lost.
lot to do with that, believe me. I know you got in that dugout
Only
and
one
said,
we
let's
lost
go.
was 1971 when the game was in Detroit and Reggie Jackson hit that ball off of Doc Ellis.
Yeah.
Hit the transformer
I remember.
on top of Brick Stadium.
Yeah.
That was a rocket.
Yeah.
Reggie
He hit
talks
some
about
rockets.
that all the time.
I want to ask you one last question before we go to break. 44-game hitting streak, the third longest in history. Keeler, Wheeler, whatever his name
Second longest.
is. He had 40. He had 45. You have 44. But he was in the 1800s. In the 1900s, you have the longest hitting streak in the 1900s. Correct?
It's
DiMaggio was what,
DiMaggio?
72 or
It's
76?
DiMaggio me.
Well,
I
saw
got the
some-
most in the National League.
you
He's
have
got the most in
national-
America. League.
Exactly. There was a guy named Willie Keeler.
I thought I passed him.
He had
You better
40
check that.
I did check it. He had 45. You had 44.
I don't remember him with 45.
Oh, it's okay.
He was a
Listen,
Wee Willer. He was a little peckerhead about this big.
it's a small point. What is it like to 44? Did you have visions of catching DiMaggio? I mean, did you think you could do it? 44-game hitting streak doesn't happen in this day and age.
No. Well, the schedule was in my favor, but I don't think when I went 0 for 4 that night in Atlanta that I was thinking about 56. I was thinking about 45, and I hit 2 ropes that night, and they were both caught.
Yeah.
And then I went on to hit a 7 or 8 in a row after that.
Wow.
And I'll guarantee you, I know one guy was pulling for me that night, and his name is Ted Turner. And I'll tell you why. The game was in Atlanta, and in those days, the Braves were drawing 8, 9, 10,000. And the night when my hitting streak stopped, they had 28,000 walk-ups.
Wow.
And you knew they would have had the same amount the next night if I was going for 45. So Ted Turner was rooting for me to get a hit.
Wow.
And
Of course,
I enjoyed
you
it
need the federal
because
stand.
I was paid to do one thing, get hits and score runs.
And win
I
ball
just
games.
did it in 44 games in a row.
Wow.
You know, it was fun for me. And I had to thank a guy named Jim Ferguson, who was our PR director, because he set it up where before every game, I go to this press conference in a separate room at the stadium, and I kept the press away from the rest of the players. Because if I extended my hitting streak, and I'm number 14, and next to me in his locker is Joe Morgan, and he went 0 for 4, and guys are crowding around and step on his shoes and something that's not good.
Yeah.
So I was always alone with the press before and after every game.
Well, that was very nice of you.
And it helped baseball.
It helped baseball. It did help baseball, and it's a much different game nowadays.
Yes.
And that's the crazy thing about it. But we're going to take a little break, and then we'll talk about the state of the game today, what you think about the playoffs coming up, who's going to win the World Series, who you like. But is there anything that you want to mention before we go to break?
No, not really.
Good.
Not really.
We covered a
I'm
lot
hungry.
of it. You're hungry?
Yeah.
I got some licorice over there.
No. Oh.
Anyways, we got the great Pete Rose here today. What an honor. I mean, it's just so
Your
wonderful
feet don't hit
to
the
sit and
ground.
chat with Pete. We're going to take a little break. We'll get back to you in a few minutes. Continue to watch. We got a lot more fun things to talk to Pete about. Stay tuned.
Do you like a good cigar? Not me. I like a great cigar. And if you enjoy a great cigar, like these guys, then you want SGC cigars. Not only do you get a great smoke, but a portion of the proceeds from each cigar goes to help the children. And let's face it, it's all for the kids. And if it ain't fun, we ain't doing it. Enjoy.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us through the commercial break. I know it's worth it because we have the great Pete Rose here today. We're going to talk some more about some of his accomplishments and some of the things that are going on in baseball today and some of the crazy, crazy rules they got going on. We're also going to talk about playoffs, but I just want to go through a couple of
Well,
your
I think
accomplishments
something that's
quickly.
interesting, okay?
Go ahead. It's Pete's show, by the way.
One
not
of my dear friends is Tony Perez, okay? And I met Tony Perez 61 years ago when I'm 2 days out of high school and he's 2 months out of Cuba.
Oh, my goodness.
We played on the same team in Geneva, New York. Okay? I'm 2 days out of high school. He's 2 months out of Cuba. I did lunch with him about a month ago in Cincinnati, and I sat there for 2.5 hours and didn't understand a word he said. After 61 years, he still can't speak English. He always say, baseball been very, very good to me. No question about that. But he could knock in runs.
Oh, he
Almost
was great.
1,700 of them.
He was consistent.
He was consistent.
You
Now,
had a
what was
bunch of
your-
consistent teammates.
Yeah, we did.
Bench,
Yeah,
Morgan,
yeah. One of the best in the history of their position,
yeah,
Schmidt.
Schmidt.
Only
Schmidt
Cuban.
was a
Tony
great
Perez is the only Cuban ever to make the Hall of Fame.
Wow.
There's been a lot of good Hall of Fame
Yeah.
players from Cuba.
Oh, heck yeah, a whole lot. Who was your favorite teammate? Is that too tough?
I just talked about him for 5
Oh,
minutes.
that's your favorite teammate. Okay, I like it.
And right behind
wasn't
him,
sure you said he was a very good friend.
right behind him was Joe Morgan.
Which pitcher did you hate to face when you were up to bat?
Koufax. I couldn't hit Koufax with this table.
Really?
I had 10 for 57, which is 175.
Yeah.
But nobody hit Koufax.
Yeah. How about Drysdale?
I hit Drysdale.
You hit him?
I hit Gibson. I hit Marichal.
Juan Marichal in San Francisco.
Oh, he
Wow.
was good.
He was good.
I got 64 hits off of Phil Necro, knuckleballer. And I got 44 hits off his brother Joe, knuckleballer.
Both knuckleballers.
So I got over 40th of all my hits off the Necro family.
Wow.
If she'd have had 5 sons, I'd have got 5,000 hits.
You like that knuckleball, huh?
Yeah.
You figured out how to time it?
You swing at it.
You just
You
swing
don't
at it.
figure out. For those people listening to us talk, don't know what a knuckleball does. If you're ever on an airplane and you're in turbulence, that's a knuckleball.
Yeah.
The airplane goes like this.
Yeah.
So you don't know which way it's going to go, so you had to swing at it.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be able to hit it. I don't know why.
Most guys couldn't hit it. They had good careers, both of them.
Oh.
Phil and Joe.
Phil was a Hall of Famer, no question
Yeah.
about it. 300 wins.
Yeah. In 1969, you batted .348. That was a big year. You were MVP.
1960 what?
9.
That was my second batting title in a
Yeah,
row.
your second. You had 2 batting titles.
3.
3?
Got one in 73, too.
68, 69.
Hey, you screwed up.
68, 69, and 73.
That's 3. That's not 2.
Okay, well, I'm not good at math.
Okay. Listen, at 69, I'm going for my second batting title in a row. We're playing in Atlanta. I'm playing against the Braves. Clemente is playing against somebody in Pittsburgh. Okay? The only way I can lose the batting title is if I go 0 for 4 and Clemente goes 4 for 4. Well, here we are. I'm 0 for 3 and he's 3 for 3. Okay? And Cleet Boyer is playing at third base.
Atlanta Braves.
For the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
And I walk up to bat my 4th time up, and I look down at third base, and Cleet's down there, and he does this. He gives me a double wink. Now, I never had a guy wink at me before, okay? And I look at him, and he's 4 feet behind the bag. So I drop down a bunt, and I won the bat title.
That's funny. That's funny.
Don't tell the Clemente family that,
Oh,
though.
my God, that's a great story.
And he didn't make an out, so he was 3 for 4.
Oh, that's a great story.
I remember when we used to go to Pittsburgh, we had to go underneath the stadium through the Pittsburgh dugout, which is on the third base line, to our dugout, which is on the first base line. And they had benches underneath the stadium. And Bobby used to sit there and talk about hitting with everybody. You know, I called him Bobby. His name was Roberto. And whenever Bobby would come out, we'd say, Bobby, how you feel? He'd say, I feel good. He said, I really feel good. He'd go 0 for 4. Okay? He said, how you feel, Bobby? The next day, how you feel? He said, Pierre. He called me Pierre. He says, every fucking bone in my body hurts. He'd go 4 for 5. So whenever he came out, we just hoped he felt good.
He felt good.
We were wanting, I feel good today. He'd go 0 for 4. I mean, he was unbelievable. Wow. He was, playing against him and Mays and Aaron and Musial. I mean, those guys were credit to the game.
Incredible ball players.
Yeah.
Credit to the game. You
The best in the history of the game.
The best in the history of these guys nowadays. They pale in comparison.
And
You
it
played
gets
in the
some
greatest
of the
era
best.
of baseball. Let's
I
face
did.
it. You played
There's
in
no
the greatest
question
era
about
of
that.
baseball with the most unbelievable players. You know who my favorite? I was a Dodger fan. I grew up a Dodger fan. And the funny thing about that is, my dad hated the Reds.
Yeah.
But he
Well,
had
any Dodger fan did.
Yeah, he had a best friend called Carmen Bellata from Cincinnati, and they would argue and bet on every game and fight. And it was so great because I would go to Dodger Stadium. I'd been to a couple thousand games at Dodger Stadium. Our dad took us to see ball games. I went to so many of your games. I had to listen to my dad on the way home after a doubleheader on a Sunday, you know, after we'd been there from 12 o'clock until 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
and we had to go to school the next day. It was like,
all day.
Oh, my God, all day games, you know, and it was like, it was the greatest era of baseball, and that's why I loved it so much. I just wasn't good enough at it, but
I used to love to go to Dodger Stadium because every night we played, the attendance was 52,400.
sold out.
Every game.
Yeah, sold out.
They put it on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
52,500.
Yeah.
And I remember one time I was in an All-Star game, and Tommy Lasorda was coaching his first game at third. And I'm on first base, and Willie gets a base hit to center, and I go into third head first, and I'm up, and I'm wiping off, and Tommy comes over, and he starts telling me, now, the guy in center field doesn't have a good arm, the guy in right. I said, Tommy, this is not my first All-Star game. I said, just shut up and coach third, will you? I know who can, and I'm pulling his chain.
Yeah.
I like him, I'm pulling his chain. And he looked at me, he said, you know something? He said, we had a vote before the game. I said, what? He said, we had a vote for the game in the clubhouse, and you were voted the second best looking guy on the team. I looked down, I said, well, who the hell was number one? He said, the other 24 tied for first. Shut up, Tommy.
That's
you
Tommy.
ass.
That's Tommy. He was a great manager.
Yeah,
he had
was.
some great years with the Dodgers.
He did.
But, you know, it's funny. There were so many great memories, and we could talk forever about this. And some of the, again, you were, some of the other stats, you were MVP twice. You 17 All-Star games. That's crazy. You were the last player manager in baseball.
Right. And I'll be the last one. And I'll be the last one.
Yeah, but I told people this, and again, I watched the game closely for many years. you were a very good manager. People don't realize that. You just weren't a good player. And the one year, I forget what year it is, that you were player manager, you had a big year. I think you hit like
I took over
338 or something.
when I came back in August of '84 to be a player manager of the Reds. They were in last place. Okay, I ended up 5th that year, so I improved by one position. And then the next 4 years, I finished 2nd, 4 years in a row. And then when I was suspended, then next year they won the World Series.
Yeah, your players.
Okay. Well, no, because I'll tell you what they had that I didn't have the 4 years I finished 2nd. Glenn Braggs, Billy Hatcher, Randy Myers, and Hal Morris. If I'd had those 4 guys the years that I finished 2nd, I'd have won the pennant every year.
Yeah.
But I changed the atmosphere.
You were a good manager.
And the reason that will never happen again is because when you're a player manager, first of all, you got to keep your skills honed, okay? You can't ask coaches to come to the ballpark at 1 o'clock to throw you batting practice because you have to take care of the press and you have to take care of your players. There's just not enough hours in the day.
Okay.
You can't neglect your players, and you sure in the hell today can't neglect the press or they'll run you out of town. So I never did retire. I just quit playing.
Yeah.
I never went to the front office and say I'm retiring as a player, because when I stopped playing in '84, I let Tony Perez play every day because he was chasing the Latino home run record, 360 something, which he surpassed.
Yeah, he surpassed.
And he was my good friend, so he played every day the last 6 weeks of the season. And after I quit playing, I pinched hit once off of Lance McCullers, and he struck me out. And my last at-bat was off of Goose Gossage, and he struck me out. And I said, hey, I'm 45 years old. This pinch hitting is not going to work, so let's just don't play no more.
Yeah. But it was a storied, incredible career. And again, I know in the hearts of many, 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 many fans, you are absolutely a Hall of Famer. You're a Hall of Fame guy. You're a Hall of Fame ball player. And it's an honor to know you, and I want to switch it up a little bit. I want to talk about the state of the game today.
Yeah.
Well, what do you like about the game today, and what don't you like about the game today?
Well, first of all, I believe there's a lot of good players in baseball. We all know them. There's a lot of terrific players. But baseball is boring for me to watch. I'm so sick and tired of a team scoring 5 runs all by the home run.
Yeah.
In the other game, the other team scores 6 runs all by the home run. No hitting and running, no stealing bases, no bunting over.
No.
What happened to the game of baseball? And I have to believe, and I don't know this, and I'm not criticizing anybody, the ball's got to be juiced.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid at Kansas City, Perez, most home runs he ever hit is 30. All of a sudden, he's got 46.
46.
And he's
New
got 3
record.
weeks to go.
Yeah.
He beat Johnny Bench's record.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you improve by 16 home runs?
You don't. Your skills don't become that strong, particularly at his age.
Everybody that plays baseball today hits home runs.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's in the teens in home runs.
Yeah.
And yet they got enough nerve to check the pitcher's glove and hat in between every inning.
Yeah.
You don't have to check that because these
I
guys
know.
are hitting so many home
my
runs.
God,
It's not like
that's
the pitchers
disgusting, slowing
are
the game
fooling
down.
anybody.
Yeah. I mean, you look at these guys like who comes to mind is Muncy in L.A. That guy got released by Oakland.
Yeah.
He goes to L.A. They figure something out in his swing, and he's hitting home runs like crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy was never relevant. I look at a guy like Trey Turner, a little dude. He's
I like
hitting
Trey
home
Turner.
runs.
I like Trey
He's a
Turner.
good player, and the Dodgers are lucky to have him. But
They got a steal when they got him and Scherzer.
Oh my gosh, Scherzer is a beast.
He's the best. I worked with Scherzer on Fox.
That guy's unbelievable.
Scherzer's 9-0 as a Dodger.
Yeah. But are they going to catch the Giants?
They don't have to. They'll make the playoffs.
But as a wild card team, it's a little tougher.
Well,
But they'll throw Scherzer and they'll be in the playoff against the Giants, right?
they got, what's the other, Bueller?
Yeah. Oh
They
my
got
God.
Kershaw?
Yeah, Walker Bueller, and they got this kid Urias.
Yeah, they're all
People
good.
don't even know this kid, this left-hander.
That's how good the Giants are.
Yeah.
How the Giants doing it?
That's the
They
thing.
gotta- they
The
gotta-
Dodgers are so good with that pitching staff and those players.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
But
Turner,
Mookie Betts is not playing like a $400 million
They say he's got a
player.
bad hip, and
Okay.
he's playing hurt.
I'll
But
give
the
him the
Dodgers,
benefit.
but the Giants, they got a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Belk and the rest of them.
Yeah, they got
Yastrzemski's doing well, though.
Yastrzemski, I love him. The grandson
Yeah.
of Carl.
Yeah.
He playing out there in right field, playing very, very well.
Yeah.
But, they brought in a bunch of old veterans, and it helps to get Chris Bryant from the Cubs.
Oh, he'll help him.
He's helping them, but it's how you see the upcoming playoffs. I mean, do you see the Dodgers winning it again this year, or are they going to play Tampa? Who are they going to play from the American League?
Oh, I don't. It's going to be a surprise. Tampa's got a really good team.
Yeah, they've been playing
And
bad.
I think they all learned something last year by losing that series.
Yeah, they're scrappy.
The manager,
They're
learned.
well managed, by the way. I like
They
that.
weren't
manager.
last year though. He made mistakes.
Oh my God! In the World Series, he made a lot of mistakes. A couple of your teams, Philadelphia is trying to get that first place
Not
from
gonna make
Atlanta.
it. Not gonna
Cincinnati's
make it.
trying to get the wild card,
Not
but
going to make it.
Cincinnati's not going to make it, right?
They're 3 games behind with 11 or 12 to play.
St. Louis is on fire.
9 in a row.
Yeah.
9 in a row.
Do you think Philly will catch Atlanta?
No.
2 games back.
No, I don't think so. Philly, there's something missing with their offense.
Yeah.
They got shut out again last night, 2-0. The team scored 2. Baltimore.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to the playoffs, you can't lose to Baltimore,
No.
Pittsburgh,
No.
teams
You
like
cannot.
that because they're bad teams.
Arizona, Colorado. Oh my God, these are bad teams. Miami.
There's-
There's a lot of bad teams in Major League Baseball.
question
There's a
about it.
few good teams. I tell people this. Look at the Angels. All that talent, they can't get there. It drives me crazy. I like to watch the Angels win.
The Angels always got an
can't get there.
excuse. They always got an
Oh, my
excuse.
God.
Well, so-and-so got hurt. Rendon got hurt.
Oh, yeah.
Trout got hurt. Pujols got hurt. I mean, they always got an excuse.
Yeah.
Everybody has injuries. That's part of the game. It's the teams that have the injuries that put someone else in there and do the job.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I hear all the time, guys, particularly in football, more in football than anything, next man up. They say next man up all the time because in football, as you know, injuries are
Oh, sure.
it's crazy. Baseball, sometimes it's hard to get hurt. I mean, you get in left field one day, you don't get any balls hit to you, strike out 4 times. How you feel? You must feel pretty good to play the next day. I mean, baseball, I see more fat guys than any sport.
But that's one reason why I always thought baseball was a great game for a player, and I'll tell you why. Because, I can give you a game to illustrate what I'm talking about. We're playing Montreal one night, and I'm playing with Mike Schmidt. And Mike Schmidt had a great eye. If he swung at a ball this far inside or outside, you were surprised. Okay, so this one particular night, he's 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts and 12 pitches,
Wow.
which is unusual to begin with.
That's very
12
unusual.
pitches, 0 for
It's unheard
4.
of.
And we're playing in Philadelphia against Montreal. Jeff Reardon is pitching. Okay? So Mike is leading off the bottom of the 9th. The first pitch to Mike Schmidt, the 13th pitch he saw that night, he hits a home run. So he's got 4 strikeouts. Hits a home run on the 13th pitch, goes around. Where's he go? The star of the game show.
Yeah, and that is baseball.
Because he hit the home run.
It's
Now
so
this is a vulgar story, but it's funny and it's true. Joe Nuxall, our announcer, is doing a star of the game show. The girls are like this story. And Tony Perez is hitting. He hits a home run in the bottom of the 9th. He goes around the bases. He goes right into the star of the game show in the dugout. Because Joe came down from the radio booth and did the star of the game show right at ground level. And the first thing Joe says, he said, Tony, he says, congratulations on tonight's home run. What did you hit? And Perez looked at Joe and he looked at the camera and he said, Joe, I hit a cock-high fastball.
Oh my
And
God.
Joe didn't know what to say.
Oh, he couldn't. Oh,
So Joe was on the air. He just said,
my God.
no
Is
shit.
that hilarious or what? That is so colorful moments. Pete. That is unbelievable.
That's
a good one.
unbelievable. Yeah, we're in the clubhouse listening. And what?
You guys must have fell out.
And Joe was laughing so hard,
man.
he looked at the camera and said, no shit.
Baseball stories by Pete Rose. He's got millions of them. So
We just got cut off the air, by the way.
Oh, I know. A few hours ago. No, you made recently a point about baseball that was interesting to me. You were like, it's the only sport where you can get 3 hits and 10 times at bat 300 to make the All-Stars. You said if Tom Brady you know, completes 3 out of 10 passes, he's not going to be in the league. If LeBron James hits 3
Yeah.
out of 10 shots, he's not
Right.
going to be in the league. And
Well,
you say,
baseball is
baseball, you can be hit
It's a
300
it's
and
a
make
failing game, like
Yeah.
you said about an hour, 4 hours ago. I made 9,800 outs.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of outs.
Yeah, that's a lot
But
of outs.
I batted. Let's see, 14, 15, 15,006, 700 times.
That's a lot of pitches.
I had
That's a lot of pitches.
14,058 official at bats. Plus, I had 1,500 walks. Plus, I got hit 110 times. So now you're up to 15,600. Okay, and I made 98, almost 9,900 outs. That's a lot of outs.
But you had a lot of years.
I'll tell you something they never say that I got a record for. I heard the most national anthems of anybody because I played in more games than anybody.
Yeah. More games, more hits.
More outs,
More
more
300
doubles, more
seasons.
runs.
Yeah. More doubles.
More. I did.
You did it all.
I was lucky, man.
We were lucky.
I had injuries, but they didn't sideline me.
The
at all.
Iron Man.
Because when
Charlie
I
Hustle.
played my first 16 years at Cincinnati, we had 1-year contracts
Every year?
every year for 16 years.
Oh, my
I didn't get a multi-year contract till I went to Philly for 79.
Oh, my God.
Okay, so what does that create? You
Hustle.
better have a good year to get a raise.
You better have a good year to get a raise.
You can't afford to take off when you don't feel good. I played a lot of games I didn't feel good.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of hits when I didn't feel good. You'd be surprised how many good games you can have when you don't feel up to par. It's just something about it. It relaxes you.
You show up and make it happen.
Yeah,
and
make
does
it
relax
happen.
you. It really does.
I didn't take off when Koufax pitched or took off when Gibson pitched or Nolan Ryan pitched. You got to play whoever's on the mound's going to pitch against you that day. That's who you're going to face.
And you wanted them. You wanted
You wanted
to
the
face them.
challenge.
Hell yes.
It was a challenge. We used to have a road trip. Listen to this road trip. Play a Sunday game, Cincinnati game's over, get on a plane, fly to L.A. We face Koufax, Drysdale, and Sutton.
Oh, man.
Okay, then we go to San Francisco and face Marichal, Gaylord, Perry, and somebody else. Then we stop at St. Louis on the way home and face Gibson, Carlton, and someone else. So we had 9 games and faced 7 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
That's a tough-ass road trip.
But you're showing up every night because
Oh, yeah.
you're ready for the challenge and you
Oh,
want
yeah.
to beat those guys. And
All you did
that's
against
the
those
allure of it.
guys, we called them lions. There's a lot of lambs in the game. Okay? The lambs you get 2 or 3 hits off of. The lions you try to scramble to get 1 for 4.
Yeah.
Or maybe a walk and 1 for 3. Then you're ahead of the game. But you're not going to get 3 for 4 against the lions. You may once in a while. But, I did pretty well against great pitchers. 307 against
very
Gibson,
well against
340
everybody.
against Marichal, 296 against Nolan Ryan. He struck me out 14 times, walked me 18 times. But it was a challenge to go against him. I couldn't hit Randy Jones with this table, and he couldn't break a glass. I just couldn't hit him.
Randy Johnson.
Jones.
Jones. Oh, Randy.
He won a Cy Young with San Diego, but he threw about 86 mile an hour, turned it over, and then he was one of them some bitches. He was a great guy, but he was one of those guys when he gets you out, he always ground out, and you go by the mound, he'd laugh at you. Whenever a guy gets you out and laughs at you, you hate that son.
Oh,
of a
man,
gun.
that makes you mad.
Oh my God, he's laughing at me.
Oh, man. And that didn't work in your life.
No, it didn't.
Well, Pete, it's been great having you on
But
the
I
show.
got even with him. I'll tell you how. I'm batting against him one night, and he's in a streak. He's going for a record of consecutive batters without a walk. Okay? And Sparky tells me to go up and bat left-handed against him. And I never did that before in a game.
That's funny.
And I go up and I bat left-handed, and he's left-handed. And whoa, I didn't know he had a curveball like that. So he got me 3-2, and he threw me a curveball, strike 3, and the umpire called it ball 4.
Oh, God.
And I broke a streak.
Oh, man.
And I walked by me and
must have been
said, "You
upset.
son of a bitch, that was a Pete Rose pitch." If I'd have been Pete Hose, he'd have called my ass out.
Pete, you got a lot of amazing stories.
I do.
Will you come on with us again in the near future to talk about when we get to the World Series? We'll talk some World Series baseball.
Anytime.
Thank you.
I can talk about baseball.
You can.
You got to thank my driver for getting
We
me
could
out
go
here.
4 more hours. Your driver's ready to go, so we better wrap the show up.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to talk
It's
to your
our
fans and fans. The guy knows what he's talking about. Just continue to listen to him because you never know what's going to come out of that mouth. Okay, good, bad, or indifferent.
That's right. Thank you, Pete.
All right, buddy.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for watching. This has just been, to me, an epic show. I don't get to do many great interviews like this with a true legend. And as I like to say, Pete is one of the greatest baseball players of all time. So legendary, so many great stories. But the greatest thing about Pete is he's a good person. He's a good man, and I like his attitude about winning, being positive, and that's the greatest thing about Pete. Finish up for us.
One thing you got to do, okay? Don't call me a legend because legends are dead.
Okay.
Call me a living
Is
legend.
that true? Living legend.
No, I'm a living
I
legend.
learned something
if you say
today.
so. But
Hey,
a legend
living
is
legend.
dead.
Yeah, you're moving
Okay.
there.
Most
You
legends,
got a
all
lot of
legends
energy
are
left.
dead.
Hey, Pete, you're the man. Living legend, Pete Rose. Watch the show. Share it with your friends. Look at us at all the different social media sites. This was a great show. Pete Rose is a great guy, and he's going to be back with us. We're going to talk some more baseball, World Series baseball. Pete, thank you so much. He's eating crackers. I'll see you later. Thank you. Watch us again. Bye.